Hi, this is Jeff with EOU IT, and we're going to go over EOU data security and the procedures that we all need to follow as staff and faculty to ensure that we keep EOU's data safe at all times. So let's go ahead and get started. So EOU has a legal responsibility to protect our data at all times. Data security just simply means protecting student data and staff data, such as our databases or other online applications like Banner, from any kind of destructive forces or any unwanted actions from unauthorized users. Data security is important because EOU holds valuable information regarding our students and staff in our internal systems. If anybody doesn't follow procedures and the network does get compromised, it means the loss of private information that could lead to identity theft and other damaging scenarios that could threaten EOU's ability to conduct business. And the Federal Trade Commission reports that over 9 million people nationwide fall victim to identity theft every year. When we think of identity theft, the first thing that comes to mind is a computer hacker or a high-tech criminal with gadgets and gizmos that crack firewalls and steal credit card numbers of online buyers, kind of like the recent Target breach. But there's other ways to get data from other places, and I'll give you an example. So this was a national story back in 2012 involving the Northwest Florida State College. And they had a very large data breach of their internal systems back in 2012 after one or more hackers accessed a folder on their campus main server that held private information. It's estimated around 300 students and staff were compromised with this data breach. It occurred between May 21st and September 24th. And a total of 76,000 people, including current and former students of the school, had their names, addresses, social security numbers, and date of births stolen from this internal system. And 50 of these 76,000 were considered high-value targets and all reported identity theft, which one included the college president. So you kind of have an idea of what happens if we don't follow the data security procedures I'm about to lay out for you and how it could affect EOU's ability to conduct business and grow enrollments on campus. So this training was really meant to help us follow through with some best practices to ensure that we don't have the same problems at EOU. So what do we need to do? Follow these steps to ensure that we do our part to keep EOU's data safe. First off, don't be tricked or fooled into giving away confidential information. This includes names, addresses of students or staff, login credentials or passwords especially. Don't respond to any emails or phone calls requesting confidential information. Report them if you feel that they're suspicious in nature to IT. Always keep in mind that the bad guys are successful because they are convincing, so always be vigilant and on guard when you get those kind of requests. Absolutely in no scenario ever, never give out your password to anybody over the email or over phone. IT will never ask for your password over the phone or an email, so always be suspicious of anybody who is requesting it, even if they claim that they are from IT or the help desk, because we will never do that. And just always be sure that you're on guard. Report any kind of suspicious activity to IT. The sooner that IT knows about it, the sooner that we can correct it and prevent it from happening to other people across campus. So the next one is to password protect sensitive files in your devices. This can include your desktop computer, a laptop computer, or even a smartphone. And while it's not recommended to use sensitive data for USB flash drives or external hard drives, if you absolutely have to use them, make sure you contact IT so we can help you secure them in a better way. We want to be sure the devices are encrypted, so if they do get stolen, their hackers or whoever won't be able to access any data off of them. And it does happen from time to time, but if you do lose a laptop or a cell phone, you need to make sure that you report it. It's very difficult for hackers to break into a device if it is password protected or encrypted. So that's why you want to be sure to get that done if you do use it in a public space. The next one is a little bit obvious, but we simply don't want to leave any sensitive information lying around your office or your workspace. We don't want printouts containing private information on people's desks because it's really easy for a visitor to glance by your desk and see sensitive documents or even simply help themselves if they feel the need. Keeping your desk tidy and your documents locked away or even shredding them when you're no longer needing them is always recommended to keeping data safe. And just simply makes your office look more organized and reduces the risks of information theft. And it just makes you not look like such a likely target of that. So The next one is locking your computer or mobile phone when it's not in use or when you're away from it. And the reason why we recommend locking your phone or your computer is just to make sure that your information will stay safe. Obviously, if you leave it unattended and somebody knows what they're doing, they can access stuff really quickly while you're not there in your presence. Or it even keeps people from their, prying eyes kind of looking at documents on your computer while you're working on them. So you always want to get in the habit of locking your devices when you're going to be away from them at any period of time. Now, the next one is to always use a strong password. And IT has kind of already started the ball rolling with this by creating complex passwords using our MountyPass system. And this includes our password criteria, which passwords have to be 8 characters minimum. You have to include an upper and lower case, a number, and a special character. And we do this to ensure stronger security of our internal systems by using stronger passwords. But you always want to try to remember to create a complex password just to avoid getting hacked. The longer and the more difficult you make it, then the longer and more difficult you're going to make it for a hacker to be able to access your data. And you'd be surprised how many people use obvious passwords like the word password or obvious character sequences on your keyboard, like if you selected ASDFG or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Never do this with any other sites, as you could possibly obviously be more prone to attacks at that point. And as technology improves, hackers' ability of obtaining our information will also improve. So there will be times where IT will be increasing the password security to try to pose off future threats. So just be aware of that. And we also recommend using different passwords for different websites. Obviously, MountyPass is tied to a bunch of systems, which is good. But there's other systems that you may use outside of work. For example, online banking. Never use your MountyPass credentials for your online bank. So if you do get hacked by something, they don't try to actually access other things that could cause identity theft. And like I said, online banking has always been a really large one. So just be sure to use different passwords for different systems, especially non-work related systems. So. The next one is to not install unauthorized software on your work computers or laptops. The biggest reason why we do this is as ITs begin moving all staff and faculty to Active Directory in the coming months, it really won't be an issue as much, but IT has to ensure that the software doesn't have any viruses or malware on it, because a lot of innocent-looking programs can hold them on there. And the other thing, too, is we want to make sure that they're licensed correctly, too, because we are a publicly owned institution. Malicious applications and software poses legitimate programs like games or tools or screensavers or even antivirus software. And they basically fool you into installing them so they can infect your computer and spread to other computers on your network. So if you want to use another application on your EOU-owned computer and you think it's useful for your position, simply contact IT and we'll look into it for you. And we'll also check the licensing agreements for you. There's a lot of times where software, we're able to install it on a home machine for a single user, but not install it in a public institution or public university. And we are bound to those licensing agreements, and we can get fined pretty heavily if we're caught not following licensing agreements. So that's another reason why we want to be sure that we follow those correctly. The next one is to be cautious of suspicious emails and links. Always report any kind of suspicious emails or links, because usually hackers try to steal email lists from companies and dupe people into infecting themselves and others in their organization so they can kind of spread the hack, so to speak. Company email addresses such as EOU.edu are valuable to attackers and allows them to create fake emails and fake email addresses from real people. So be cautious about your email and about the people that you're receiving things from. You can always delete or an email, but you can also report the email as spam to Google or report the email as phishing to Google. Spam is simply junk emails that random companies send for like advertising. Phishing is actually when an email is asking you for information. They want you to respond to an email by clicking a link or clicking an attachment. And when you open these links or click on the links, you can then compromise your computer and then spread the virus or malware through the network without really knowing it. So be sure to report those so IT can investigate them further. The next one is backing up your work, and this will also be a little easier when everybody gets on Active Directory in the coming months, as IT is implementing it out at this time. Basically, if in the event that you do get hacked or anything does happen, a lot of times they will simply go after the files on your computer. They'll either copy them and remove them or remove them completely. So you want to make sure you store these files in standard locations like desktop or your documents folder. The reason why we recommend that is so Active Directory can automatically back up or sync your data to the central campus storage. And central campus storage, we can monitor traffic to ensure there's better security across campus. So any computer that's moved to Active Directory in the coming months will automatically have this added as a feature, which is pretty handy. And we call this network storage for backup. It is the recommended way to back up your work to ensure that it's safe and secure. We no longer recommend using USB drives or external hard drives, as they're insecure. They're easy targets for theft, and while you can encrypt them, they still can be stolen, and we still run the risk if something does get stolen that they could crack the encryption. So it's best to use the network storage for your work here at EOU rather than USB or external hard drives. And remember to stay alert, because we're all in this together. You always want to be cautious of people that you don't know, especially online or on the phone. Report any suspicious activity if you think that it's malicious in any way, shape, or form. Always report it to IT so we can investigate. And remember, if there is an issue and something does go wrong, the faster that IT knows about it, the faster that we can resolve the issue. We are your resource for any kind of these technical questions, so please feel free to give us a call at any time. And here's our contact information. If you have any questions or you have anything that you'd like to report, you can view our website online at eou.edu/IT. You can submit a help desk ticket to helpdesk@eou.edu, or you can give us a call at 541-962-3111. Thank you so much for watching.